What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Build. We're here working on a Lamborghini Murcielago restoration. We first found this Lamborghini abandoned on a farm. I actually bought it from a viewer. Shout out to Andrew. It was crashed in a high-speed cornering incident where the road cornered and the driver didn't. So it was very crashed, and we bought it with the intention of putting it on top of my Tesla Model 3. And a couple weeks ago, we found out it does not fit. So we went after making this car work like a Lambo should. And in the last episode, we got the engine all fixed up and actually in the right place. We got the transmission to start shifting gears. It's a happy machine. It just doesn't really look the part. So in today's episode, we're gonna be working on fixing bent and damaged frame rails. We are gonna be starting to apply some body parts that we've got, and we're starting the process of fixing this thing back up. Stay tuned. And by the way, today's episode is proudly sponsored by Shopify. Are you still tuned? Okay, good. So around this car, the whole shebang, the whole car, built out of square steel. Pretty bizarre construction method because tube steel is a lot stronger, but square steel is a lot easier to work with. So here's a great example. This is the frunk of what the structure of this vehicle looks like. Square steel, square steel, square steel, sheet metal, plated in sections, and then the body is glued on. Some of these parts are carbon fiber that are glued on. Some of these parts are bolted on. Some of these parts are actually metal that the carbon fiber parts are glued on too. I digress. Anyways, we want to fix any of these square tubes that got bent in the crash. So this is a good example. Gonna fix all this up. Gonna fix down there up. Gonna fix down there up. Just get this thing looking a lot nicer. All this, that's gonna need to be rebuilt. Most of that's the whole body panels and things like that. And none of these are actually structural. Where the suspension actually picks up to the frame is right here, here, and down there, there. And that's all good. So that's great. But one of the really important ones is down there where our gas tank is held in. That got really bent out of shape when the gas tank got crushed. So we gotta rebuild that at the right level so our new gas tank, which we just got, will fit right in there perfectly. So this episode's gonna start a little bit differently. Oscar's very sick with an unknown disease, and I really don't want to get it. So we're gonna stagger our work schedule. We're gonna let Oscar work for a little bit, and then I'm gonna come in and work on the weekend. So the way to go about fixing this is gonna be, you have your straight pieces and your good pieces. When those lead into a bad piece like this, we're gonna cut right at that junction to remove the full bad piece and replace it with a solid, new, brand new, good one piece. So no more bent tubing on this whole setup. Oscar's gonna start cutting, and then guess what? There's gonna be a little bit of welding. All right, guys, I'm back, and that was a lot more work on Oscar's end than I had planned, and none on my end. Weird thing happened. So Oscar was sick and was probably still contagious, so he wanted to do his work in private, and then I went home and I got sick too. So yes, I know I look like a throwing around bag of potatoes right now, but let's just gloss over that. The hardest section of this car to rebuild was absolutely, definitely without a doubt, this section, and Oscar knocked it out of the park. You can see that he even able to pull the denting out of this thing and reshape it so it looks much better than it originally, well, that it did after the crash. It doesn't even look like it had been crashed before, which is very impressive, and I honestly didn't expect that we were gonna be able to do that. I thought we'd be remaking it ourselves. But then when it comes into the framing structure, he got it absolutely dialed, did exactly what we talked about, you know, cut off the bad metal and then weld new clean metal on. And we've even got our structure over here that mirrors this structure from over here that does a lot of really important stuff like holding the headlight, holding the fender, and holding the bumper. So they're all correlated and are gonna work together. We think. I very much trust Oscar's ability to build, and I'm pretty positive that all these things are gonna line up when we come back. If not, we'll, you know, use shims like Lamborghini does when they build their cars originally. Coming back over here to the back, you can see we've got our back support bar rebuilt here, and then everything around the fuel cell, the fuel tank, is all cleaned up, painted, rebuilt, all that good stuff, which you guys all saw on the time lapse. But this, you might not have known or whatever, this just got shipped to us and Oscar transferred all the parts over. And this is our new fuel tank out of another crashed Murcielago from AZ Cycle Parts. And it's just like got a tiny little dent here. Came in at about like $600, which when we're talking Lamborghini prices, ain't too bad, not too shabby. So that's looking really good. And we need some new adhesives so we can glue rubber stripping in to isolate the gas tank so we can get that back in there, but it's just about ready to go back into the car. All right, guys, I got a pretty cool announcement, a surprise to make. But before I do that, I kind of want to set the scene. If we rewind 8.5 years ago, B is for Build was myself learning how to work on cars in my backyard. I had to rent the driveway from my neighbor. It was tough when it started snowing. And back then, by your guys' request, you guys asked me to start selling merch. So I designed and created some merch, and I started selling it on Shopify, which is our sponsor for today's episode. I'm gonna talk about that in a few seconds. And since all the way back then in 2015, 8.5 years ago, we have worked with different partners, had different design methodologies, different designers work on our merch, different ways of creating. A lot of different things have changed with our merch, but one thing has always stayed the same, is we've always sold through Shopify because it is just the best platform to be doing it on. And that Chris of 8.5 years ago told you one important thing every time we mention merch is all the proceeds of the merch go directly into making the builds bigger and badder and improving them in any way we can. And it worked. I mean, if you fast forward 4 years from that time, we were working on exotic supercars in our private garage. And that's, I guess I'd have to say, where I think I lost track, might have lost track of the goalpost a little bit. You know, if I were to think about it, there's always been two goals with merch. One is to help raise money so we can make bigger and badder builds. And the other was to make cool merch for you guys and for myself. So we had fun stuff to wear or show off that we were proud of, right? I started feeling really weird about asking you guys to buy merch and to buy things while I was standing in front of $100,000 supercars. I really felt like, and I still to this day, to be quite honest with you, feel like that's kind of it's kind of weird. And on the other side of the coin, I had partnered with different companies that promised to help improve and expand and do other things, and to be quite frank, that didn't quite work. So I'm very happy to make this announcement that we've got realigned. We've got laser focused on the goals here. I think, and I know that the builds and myself and the team, we're gonna be fine because of awesome sponsors like Shopify. So what was the other goal though? Is to make cool stuff that we're proud of, that we're happy about, that we think looks cool and we wanna have. And that's the big announcement, that's the big change, is now I've brought everything back in-house. You guys know I'm no slouch when it comes to Photoshop and designing, and I do have AI helping me out now. So when I was out on my sick days, I jumped into our Shopify store and I completely redid the store. I created brand new products. There's only one classic product that we'll always have, which is the standard logo stuff. But we've got new hats, we've got new hoodies, we've got new shirts, and we've got no strings, so we can have as many funny, weird designs as we want to have. I've got newer, sillier, stupider things like the B is for Build scented candle company. This is the scent of your favorite red supercar on fire. And that was just what I could create and I dreamt up in a matter of a few days. So moving forward, we can take in your guys' advice, your guys' ideas, things that you guys want to see turned into merch or shirts or whatever, and keep creating fun things, all with the goal of just us being able to have cool stuff to represent B is for Build. And in true B is for Build timing, anything you buy definitely will not make it in time for Christmas. But I've got another special announcement right after I talk about Shopify for a few seconds. So I can't say enough great things about Shopify. I've obviously been using it for the greater part of a decade, and it gave me the flexibility to completely rebuild my shop in over a weekend. But I'm gonna clearly about to say some good things about Shopify. If you haven't got the idea of what it is by now, it's a commerce platform. It helps you sell your products either online or in person. It's very easy to use. It's very intuitive. You can do it at any technological skill level. And Shopify is there to support businesses all along the journey, no matter where you're at. So if you're just starting or you've been going for years, they're there to support you from first sale to 1,000th sale and so on. And Shopify is known as the go-to. They are the best, and that's probably why they support more entrepreneurs than anybody else in the world. You got millions of businesses in 175 different countries. And I can tell you from the point of a software engineer, that was my job before 8.5 years ago, before standing around in my backyard in the rain. What Shopify outputs for you is nothing short of amazing. Rebuilding your entire store and your new line of products and merchandise was not a thing that people could really do in 2 days back in the day, but it is now with Shopify. And when it kicks it out, I can just tell you to go to beisforbuild.com, and I don't care if you're on your computer and it's from 1995, try it out on Windows NT. You let me know how it goes. Or you're on your cell phone or you're on your tablet, it's gonna look right on every browser, cross-browser compatibility, cross-operating system compatibility. Those things are really hard and took an absolute monster amount of time back in the day, and they don't anymore because Shopify is awesome. So guys, go check it out for a free trial. Use the link in my description. I'll put it right here on the screen as well, shopify.com/BSforBuild. And just a huge thanks from me to Shopify for, like I said, helping support us and keeping these builds bigger and badder. All right, I know I just talked a bunch, guys, and I will get back to working on cars in just a second. We've got some really cool stuff coming. We've got body parts. We've got body parts for this thing, so just bear with me for one more second. Like I said, one last little announcement. Now, because of my masterful skills of scheduling and timing, like I said, you can go on to beisforbuild.com and order whatever you want. There is almost no chance in the world that it will show up before Christmas. But I am a huge fan of the holidays and gift giving and stuff like that, and I want that to be a thing in some people's households. I want there to be at least like one happy Bees for Build moment under the Christmas tree this year. So I've came up with an absolutely ingenious plan. So one of the first things I did was put everything on sale. So everything is pretty massively on sale, like almost 30% off, completely store-wide. So that's cool. Now, the other thing that I wanted to do though, is if you order anything between now, the day that this time airs, the moment this thing airs, oh my God, I hope this isn't a stupid idea, but guys, I really want to do this. Okay, any order between now and on Christmas Eve, if it is $65 or more, there's a note section on the website when you go to checkout. Put in a note there, who you are and who you're buying this gift for. So it might be like, my name's Sharon, I'm the mom of Nick, and we're celebrating Christmas together. And tell me a little bit about you guys and why you bought the gift for this person that you're gifting it to. And I will film a personalized surprise video for you and your person, and I'll email it to you. That way you can have it on your phone or on your TV or wherever you want to play it for that person on Christmas morning. A private, personalized message from me to you guys to wish you a happy holidays. Thank you so much for the support, and just to say hi. Sorry, there's something in the lens. I'm not waving at you. Hi, Mom. Now I am. I just really want to try and do something cool this holiday season, and video files travel a lot faster than merchandise. So if you got somebody that likes Bees for Build in your life and you want to do that as a gift, I'm down. I want to do this. I think it's going to be really fun. So that's how you can do it. All right, let's get back to work. Oscar! All right, so as you can see, Oscar has wrapped up the fuel tank replacement. As Chris Fix would say, out with the old, in with the used replacement part, because Lamborghini stuff is really expensive. Chris agrees with me on that too. The whole system is buttoned up, everything is put back in place. We've got the coolant system is back in order. Everything is ready to roll on that. So that's huge. And very cool that we were able to completely restore that whole section of the car, no problems. I thought I was getting better. I thought I was over my cold. I wasn't, guys. I'm under the weather on this one. Oscar is carrying the team on this one. Thank you, Oscar. And we continue. As promised, it's time to start jumping into body panel, test fitting a lot of body panels and making sure we've got all this stuff coordinating right and our frames all built out right. So you may have seen things hiding in the back in different shots and stuff like that. When I bought this car, shortly after that, I looked into replacement panels because, we were going to put this body on a Tesla, but we still had to, restore the body. So I went to this company, I think it's like out in Poland, FGP something or other. No affiliation, but they do make they make good quality parts. And I bought one for the Jumpicon Huracan years back, so I knew they were legit. So I ordered things like a new hood, a front bumper, a rear bumper, things like that. So we're gonna get started on the hood here. Now, in the wreck, the previous hood is just gone. Car didn't come with it, it's totally gone. And one of the signs of it being gone is what's left of this hinge right here. So this hinge originally went in something like this, and very impressive on Lamborghini's engineering part that the bolt holes are perfectly fine, and they're not ripped out, and threads aren't ripped out, and this thing literally ripped itself in half. The other hinge might be slightly bent, but it looks like it's mostly there. When we're talking about crazy Lamborghini parts and crazy taxes and stuff, this hinge in new condition on eBay right now is listed at $1,500. Absolutely ridiculous. We're gonna try and just build our own from scratch. We're gonna take this hinge off, measure and mirror every part, make all the bends, mirror it, and bolt it and weld it back together. See if we can make something that works. Ta-da! We've got a almost finished product here. This is our hinge. It's about time to test it, and then if it tests out well, it'll get a coat of paint and a coat of grease and grease all the hinges up and everything. But I'm very impressed, Oscar. You did a great job. I think this thing is gonna work. It's pretty damn cool, and it's technically worth $1,500. I wish there was a bigger market for these things, So let's go ahead and we're gonna test bolt it onto the car, and then we'll go ahead and bolt the hood to it and see how things go and see if this even puts our hood in the right spot. One big issue is the other one could have been bent, and then we built it off of a bent one, but Oscar's pretty great at these things. I think we can add some different bends into these if we need to make it, yeah, we could straighten stuff out if we're slightly off. So let's go ahead and get this hood on as a test fit and see how we're looking. Dang, Oscar really knocked it out of the park on that hinge. I mean, we bolted the hood up first try, gave it a little push to one side, and we've got pretty great even panel gaps. I mean, granted, the panel is only about 16 inches long, but hey, we're gonna take the wins where we can get them. So that's the hood on. We have to build a latching mechanism. Oh yeah, let's try and hinge it. Go ahead and, yeah, it's hinging nice. Oh yeah, so finishing work on the hinge, we'll show you that in a second here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna paint it, and then in the joints here, we're gonna throw in some grease around there, and that'll just help keep these things slipping and sliding. But it's great, it's nice and taut. Go ahead and actuate it a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have any play or any extra wiggle or anything bad to it. It's nice and solid and sturdy, and very happy about that. So let's go ahead and finish out that hinge, and then we'll start looking at our front bumper. Okay, that's the hinge all freshened up, painted black, greased up, looking good. Now, we did just notice something. We're gonna fabricate the latch part that goes from right here into that receiver down there. But there's a secondary latch part that hooks over this, and you hit it with your hand to finalize the opening process. We're gonna be doing some research looking into that and seeing if that's something we gotta fabricate or try and buy, or it is kind of a unique situation, but you know, we'll get through that. But we're gonna go ahead and move on now to testing our front bumper. So I got the front bumper from a LP670. It's just a little newer body version than this car. And we're gonna go ahead and give her an old test fit. Lamborghini has a pretty interesting way of getting the sides of these bumpers into position. You'll notice, I mean, this is a reproduction bumper, so it might not have every mounting point. We are noticing, like, after test fitting it, we're gonna wanna build a few more just to make it really robust and strong and not gonna move. But the main mounting points are these guys right here. And the Lamborghini coming off of there is this thing right here, and it basically is a notch system, and it slides on. So that's kind of what it looks like, and this piece that Oscar's showing you tries to slide into there. And on both sides of ours, probably because this is a reproduction bumper, it's just a little too tight, so it's gonna require a little bit of sanding. So we're gonna sand this up, and we're gonna use this as kind of a locating system, but we're not gonna use this to do the most of the legwork to hold this thing here. We've got some stuff in there that we can bolt to. We've got the bottom and the lower front that we can bolt to, so we're gonna be kind of welding off of our structure. So we had one bracket kind of floating out in space that wasn't within tolerances. So we knocked that bracket off, as just tack welded on there, and Oscar's re-welding it on now, back kind of in a better space. Big point of advice if you're ever doing something like this, where you're trying to fabricate a front end, like say doing a tube frame front end, or you know, replacing a bumper or facelift or anything like that, is get your piece to sit here where you're not touching it. You're not trying to hold it with one hand and hold a bracket with another hand and weld with another hand, because that ain't enough hands. So you can see we have the bumper sitting perfectly here without us touching it. We can open the hood, close the hood, and do all that work. And that really makes it a lot easier to get these brackets on. That's something Oscar taught me years and years and years ago, and you really just can't weld and build good stuff without doing that. Now, these holes right here in the upper section, we thought went to bumpers that go into the bumper. So that's an example of a bumper sitting there on the ground. And it's not the holes in the upper section, it's actually the holes in the lower section, which we didn't fabricate on here because we didn't know if we were going to need them. So that's the next step, is we're going to fabricate brackets that bolt these rubber bumpers into our front bumpers. Real quick change to the game plan, guys. We had to educate ourselves a little bit and watch our old video of disassembly. This is a piece of front bumper. It's the piece that's inside this front bumper, and these are actually the brackets, and these are the rubber bumpers. The ones that we were looking at previously, they're in this box, those go to the rear bumper. So it's a good thing we didn't install the rear bumpers on the front bumper. So these brackets bolt in to the part that Oscar has refurbished already, and then they drop the thing down and bolt into your front bumper. So this one's a little tweaked. Oscar's gonna go ahead and bolt disassemble everything, straighten out the brackets, and then we'll start bolting the brackets to the car, the bumpers to the bumper. All right, that's the front bumper mounted. We found the trunk rubber seal. It seals up really nice against our frunk. Now, we're missing this latch. I have a sneaking suspicion. We can build this one. I have a sneaking suspicion this one. So that's the one that hooks in here. And so you pull the cable inside the car. It detaches this one, lets the frunk lid pop open a little bit. You stick your hand in here and press up against this, and it's going to do the secondary delatching. I have a feeling that that is a crossover part from another vehicle. If anybody happens to know, it's very unlikely that Lamborghini just created that just for this car. So if anybody happens to know where I can get that, please leave a comment below if it crosses over to another vehicle. I know a lot of Jaguar parts cross over to this vehicle. Anyways, we'll look into it. We got to get one of those. But that's the bumper on. And although we don't have all of the nuts that we need on here, show you the construction of this a little bit. So everything that Oscar did was used, and then there's more down below as well. And that sets these rubber bumpers that then connect into our bumper. And damn, is it strong. It's like really, really on there. So we were planning on needing to build secondary things, but I mean, that's me hitting it pretty hard and it's not even moving at all. So probably not necessary at this point to be building more brackets. If it is, obviously we're not shy and we could easily build a bracket right off of right here, but not gonna do stuff we don't need to. So it's time to move on to the side skirt. We've got some metal we need to bend out there from the crashed area. Got to bring the side skirt down and figure out all our attachment points and start looking at how we're gonna get that side skirt on there. Got the side skirt mock fit. I'm really happy with the fitment. I mean, so far all of these parts have been fitting like a glove. This is looking really, really good. Obviously there was a lot of metal damage around here, but we've actually managed to get it all flattened or low. You know, if you get it a little low, then you know, you could fill up to a 1/4 inch thick of body filler in any one spot. And you don't, I mean, we wouldn't even be at a 32nd of an inch to finish that out. So that can be skimmed over and flushed out. This is all covered by a Murcielago cosmetic sill plate right there, so that gets all covered up, and it's actually matching up really, really good. This quarter has had some stuff busted out on the back side of it, so it doesn't have its mounting places anymore, so we'll have to get creative on how to mount that up and align it, but I'm stoked on it. That is really good. So coming around here, we are going to try and get our back bumper on. Now this is a recreation of a LP670 rear bumper, and the just standard Murcielago that we have here, it mounts there and there, and this mounts there and there and there and there, and then there and there and there is what it looks like. So I think that's a little bit bigger job. That's a job for tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for being patient with us on this one, struggling through us all being sick. Now remember, Christmas surprise, if you get $65 worth of merch over at bsforbuild.com, leave me a note. Let me know who the present's coming from, who it's going to, what holiday you're celebrating, and I'll make sure to get that personalized video from us to you guys before Christmas. It's looking more like a car. Whole front end is on. Very exciting. Thanks you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace!